Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I want to say thank you very much for pushing play on another episode and welcome all of the new subscribers. I have such a powerful episode for you today, but before I start recording, I just want to say a big shout out to the women in the private practice membership. I think just about every single one of them have had like one of their best weeks ever in private practice. And I couldn't be happier. You know, I woke up just a short while ago. I mean, it's 10 to 10 now, okay? I woke up at about 10 to 9. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so I'm just trying to wake up intuitively and let my body tell me when it's ready to get up, and I'm trying to listen to my body for what she needs for, nourishment and things like that. And she's saying water and herbal tea. And okay, so this is why I'm a bit slow this morning. But one of the beautiful things was, as I was standing there waiting for the kettle to boil, I thought I'll just have a quick look and see how the ladies are going in the group. And I couldn't believe it. I'll see if I can, I'm not going to tell you names. Don't worry if you're in the group and you're listening to this. I'm not going to say any names, but just let me see if I can bring up for you an example so that you can hear about the amazing things that they're all doing. One lady was saying that, she had a best week. She set her intention on Monday to have like a super smashing week, and she did. She is new to private practice, and her practice is just booming. She's doing things like running training on psychological first aid in the CBD, which is such a win. And then she's attracting more and more referrals left, right and centre. And now she's just had a conversation with somebody who has just become, like, I would imagine, one of her primary referrers. They've just offered to give her lots of work cover work, which is super cool. And then somebody else said that her intention this week was to let go and to trust the process and to trust that doors were going to open for her. And so I checked in with her last night and woke up this morning, and she was saying, she was able to do networking without fear. And this is so huge. Like, I'm just like stoked. Oh, wow. I'm just so blown away by these women. Somebody else was saying that they were this week setting the intention to be open to receiving support in the way that she really wanted to be supported. And, she had a whole lot of beliefs that she'd identified that she wanted to release, and she managed to do that too. And, I was saying to her, hey, how did you go with releasing those beliefs? And she goes, it's done. And it just blows me away. And who else? I'm just having a quick scroll through here. Somebody else was saying that her intention was to do what brings her closest to her North Star and not be distracted. So in the private practice method, I teach the ladies about a process of aligning with their North Star. And we have an alignment sheet that we use as well to support the women with this. And anyway, I checked in with her last night and said, how was your week? Did you feel really focused? And she's written back and said, yeah, it totally was. The North Star list has really helped, and I've definitely stuck to focusing on what matters rather than what crops up. I'm super happy with how things went this week. I mean, wow, guys, you are just doing so well. I'm just like, okay, I have to get on and record this podcast, but I'm so distracted because I'm like high vibing over here because they're all just doing so well. It's just like, and we're in third quarter moon this week, right? So I don't know if any of you follow moon phases, but I run my business by moon phase. I know that's going to sound super weird to some of you, but I do because I am a big believer in women being connected with cycles and being connected with nature. I mean, I think even as women, we're part of nature and we're very connected to, I talk a lot about the analogy of seasons in business, but I also run my business according to what's happening with the moon cycles at the time, and so I think it was yesterday or the day before I was sharing in my Moonworks group that, this is the third quarter. It's the last quarter of the moon phase, and traditionally this is like your big profit quarter. So this is when either the money starts coming in, that abundance starts coming in, and I think actually we've just seen that with the feedback from the women in the other group, haven't we? And it's also, if you're not seeing that profit coming into the practice right now, this is the time when the work that you're doing is going to create the profit that's coming in for the next cycle. It's a really, 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 really powerful phase. And this is the phase of masculine energy as well. I know I'm getting off topic, but I'm just so excited about it. But this is the last masculine phase of the moon. And so it's the last big push that you can implement for things like the actual doing in your private practice. So you've already moved through the planning, the releasing, the letting go, the calling in, the, all of that sort of stuff. And this energy right now is the actual doing. It was just like, go, 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 go. It's like the last big push of the race. You just want to find that spare bit of 10% in you, and you just want to expend that as you approach the finish line. And then we reflect on that in the next phases, So anyway, so cool. Okay, so how can I help you today? All right, so I was, tuning in, and I took a breath, I tuned in and I asked myself, okay, what does my audience really need to hear today that would be helpful for them? And what came through was, I think we could take a moment to reflect on your values. Now, wait, before you tap out of this episode, wait. You know me, we are going to have a conversation, you and I right now, about why you need to have identified the values for your private practice, especially if you're trying to create a business leading from your soul space. You're trying to create a heart-centered business, which you are. I mean, that's why you listen to this podcast. You're open to this. You're interested in this. Okay. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. So this is not going to be like how you learn about values when you study organizational psychology or when you do your business management qualifications. This is like my spin on values. And the reason that this has come up is because you know how also, hang on, I'm just going to sneeze for a second. No, I'm good. You know how I was explaining to you recently that I'm also in the process of learning, like I'm addicted to learning. I've got a girlfriend that I speak to, and we speak to every weekend. I think I told you this before, but every weekend we make time. Even when we're super busy, we always carve out, it started off as an hour, but now it's 2 hours and I love it. And the time just flies. But anyway, we carve out this time with each other to keep ourselves on track and accountable with what we're doing. It's kind of like peer coaching, peer support, plus we're really good friends. In fact, she's one of my best friends in the whole wide world now. And as part of, I guess, the evolution of our practice, what we were talking about recently, her and I, was, hey, let's just take a moment, because we're always forward planning. We're always saying, what do we want to achieve this week? We just do it in weekly chunks. And then recently we're talking about, well, hang on, stop. Let's have a look at what we actually did achieve last year. Because last year, I think I speak for her as well. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but it was a huge year. I mean, I don't have to tell you, but I mean, there was COVID. I released my registration as a psychologist. I changed businesses. I shut down my other private practice. I created a new private practice. I took all of that online. There was new websites, other websites closing down, changes of location. All of this sort of stuff was happening. I had courses that I was doing, coaches that I was working with, all of that sort of stuff. And it was just like every week there was something to focus on. And I think what I don't do well is look back and see just how far I've come, because I try and stay very present. And so I think sometimes I forget to say, hang on, just let's stop for a minute and look at what we've achieved over the last 6 months. So we had a chance to, and we haven't done this properly, we haven't done this well, but we did have a chance to sort of reflect on the year that's been. And I guess as a result of that, I came away from that conversation really thinking about where I wanted my practice to go over the next, say, 5 years. And what that led me to was thinking about how my business has changed just in the last 12 or 18 months, or even when I first started talking about all these things that were taboo back in the day, like talking about spirituality and manifesting and law of attraction. I started that a few years ago, and some of you might remember it was very polarizing, which, just between you and I love. But I think in that whole time, I don't think I've really sat down and thought about my values for my practice. And so over the last couple of days, I haven't been too focused on seeing clients for all sorts of reasons. I've just been caught up with, I had to organise deep cleans for the practice and to deal with my squatters and organise, people to come and do the gardens over at the building. So my lease is finishing next Sunday. So I've been distracted having to do all of these things, which have taken me away from the direct client work, which has been fine, because while I've been caught up in that space, I have also had a chance to reflect on where I want the business to go. And I realized I haven't really given much thought to my values, but it's so important that I do. Because of course I want to be calling in new clients for my business just like you do. And so I have been processing this over the last few days, and I thought I'd share with you the process I used, or some of it anyway. I'm going to share my exact process with my VIP group. Those are the ladies in the private practice method class of 2021. So that becomes part of their core training for this year. But I can share with you like a bit of what I'm going to be teaching them, so that you can have some wins and you can see how useful this information is. So the reason that you want to have sat down and really looked at your values for your private practice, because your values are going to influence all sorts of things when you're running a conscious business. Your values are going to influence the model of business that you choose to use. They're going to influence the decisions that you make on a daily basis for the practice. Your values are going to absolutely determine the types of clients that you call in, the types of clients that are aligned with you. They need to be aligned to something. And it's not enough that you know what your values are. We need to have a way of you communicating them, and perhaps not only to clients, but maybe also to the broader health community for those of you who are looking at hiring team. You also want to understand that the value of your brand is also going to become a through line for a through line just means the common denominator for all the services and any products that you choose to sell through the practice as well, whether that's wellness kits, whether that's candle kits, whether that's online PDF kits and webinars. But also they allow you to create a really powerful emotional connection to your brand, not only by you because it's already there, but we want your clients to feel an emotional connection as well, because when they do, when they feel that emotional connection, it's like that bond happens, and that's what we want. So I think when it comes to creating brand values, the other thing to remember is that you will be using these to share your message with the world about what you're doing, because it's going to help you really call in the right types of clients. There are some people that tell me that they don't want to do any marketing. They don't want to run a Facebook ad. They don't want to write a blog. They don't want to send out an email because to them, it feels like it's scary, they're vulnerable, they're worried about getting judged. What if people unsubscribe, da, 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 da. And I've said this to you before. I think when we're in that state, which is really normal, so many of us experience that, I have too, we're making it about ourselves and not about our clients. And I would really, if you're struggling in that space, I would really encourage you to anchor into your North Star, number one. And number two, remember, guys, that it's your responsibility to share your gift with the world. I mean, you were given this calling. You didn't just go and study health because you needed something to do or you wanted a job. You did it because there was, a strong pull within you. Something within you just knew that you were born to help in the way that you do. So I think you have a responsibility, knowing that you've got, intuitively knowing that you've got that gift to share. Maybe it's your own way of helping people with anxiety, or maybe it's your own way of helping people with trauma. Whatever it is, it's your way, and people need to hear that. And so therefore, I kind of see it as it's your responsibility to get that out to the world so that the people who need it can access it. Sometimes private practice, women in private practice will tell me, I hate marketing, Brooklyn. Can you just do it for me? I'll pay you to do it. And here's the thing, right? I don't believe that you can outsource your marketing. I just don't. And the reason for that is because marketing, to my way of thinking, is about building those relationships. And I can't build that relationship for you. Man, I forget his name. It's escaped me at the moment, but he was saying recently that, asking somebody to market for you is like asking somebody to go on your date for you, to stand in for you and build that relationship. It just doesn't happen. You need to understand that, the relationship is what's most important, and making that client right from the very first interaction with your practice through to every single touch point of your business is experiencing that relationship building with you. Okay. Something else that came through was, you want to, marketing is a way not only for you to sell a service, like to get, to sell appointments or to sell bookings or anything like that. Marketing is also when you're running a solo private practice and you've got your own way of doing things that makes you unique. Marketing then becomes a way for you not only to sell your products and services, but to sell a movement. I know, right? How's that? To sell a movement. I mean, allow yourself to expand your mind for a moment. Think about how you run your practice differently to me or to other people in our groups. Have a think about what makes yours different. And then think about, wow, what if I could create a movement? What if I got, clients behind this? What if I got an audience behind this and I actually created a movement? And you can create, for example, you can create your own hashtag. It's very easy to do. You can create your own hashtag and then start using that hashtag and get people to use it when they share your posts and all that kind of stuff. And you can create a movement through the unique message that you have, right? You're not selling anything. You're building momentum behind your brand. You're building recognition of what your practice stands for. You're building recognition of what you stand for. And I know it takes a brave woman to do that, but at the same time, remember, this is not about us. This is about helping the community. This is about the online community, the in-person community, your local community, the global community, but this is about helping. So anchor into that North Star and remember why you're doing it. Of course, when you're creating a conscious private practice or an intentional private practice, there are some things that you want to try and remember as well. And some of those things you can use as mini North Stars, if you like. But I would encourage you to brainstorm perhaps some principles based around the code of ethics that we have in the helping world, like from APS or from APRA or from ACA or PACFA or AASW, whoever you're with will have their own code of ethics. Maybe you choose some of those codes of ethics to become guiding principles for your practice, and they will be already. But maybe you want to really find a way of honoring them more. And so some of those more common ones can be, not doing any harm, not practicing beyond your scope of competence. Like if you're working as a coach, but you don't have a coaching qualification and something happened, you'd go for a row because you don't have any competence. You don't have a certificate, you don't have any training to back you up. So why would you call yourself that? If you were saying that you're a supervisor, but you don't have a qualification or training in supervision, and something happens, well, then, you would be deemed to be practicing beyond the scope of your competence. And that's an issue because you're not then abiding by your code of ethics, right? So use your code of ethics as your principles for creating that foundation. And as I said, they should be already, but if it's been a while since you've had a look at them, now might be an idea just to go back. And they're not scary and they're not boring, but just even if you just go back and have a bit of a skim just for your own peace of mind and just mentally tick off, I'm on the right track with everything here. And maybe too, one of the principles that you want to have is something like, I don't know, that's a little bit more inner driven, like a little bit more soul driven. Like we might say, having acceptance or having compassion or having empathy or something like that. When it comes to relationship building and marketing as well, sometimes people come to me and they'll say, I need to get more referrals and show me how to do a Facebook ad, and I need to go and get people to see who I am so that then they can book in with me. And that is absolutely a process that we can do, though I have my own way of doing it. I believe that you should absolutely go where the clients already are. I think that for your private practice, there's already an abundance of clients out there, all right? Because I believe that the universe provides in abundance. I believe that the reason you're not seeing them is because perhaps your messaging is off. And I don't think you need to focus more of your time and energy on trying to push a message out onto the world. I think you need to speak to the people who already know you. And if you're in the process of building an audience because people don't know you because you're brand new, that's a different story, and we can talk about that next time. But for those of you who've been around for a little while, we want to really focus on working with the clients that are already there. Like if you're somebody who works helping clients with weight loss or bariatric surgery or something like that, those clients are already there. You don't need to go out and find them. You just need to connect with them. And you need to find a way of doing that that's going to feel light and easy for you, where you can do it in flow. So this is what we call aligning with the demand that's out there, right? As I said, those clients are already there. And then understanding too that when you're investing in your marketing, whether that's updating your website. Well, I'm not a big fan of websites. Let me just digress a little bit here. Statistics show that of all the pathways to referrals in private practice, the website has the lowest conversion rates. Websites tend to be used by our clients just for confirmation of who we are. Like they usually have already come across us, booked the appointment, and then they want to go and check us out. So that's the value of having a website. But I think the mistake that some private practice owners make is they get caught up and they say, I need to have my website before I launch. I need to have my website before I go and have a network meeting. Honestly, not that many people in the public care about your website. What they're really focused on is, are you a nice person? Do you know what you're doing? Can you help my patients or can you help my clients? What's your availability? All of those sorts of things. And they will ask you for more information. But usually a website is not how you're going to be getting your referrals. You get your referrals by showing up and by helping and building those relationships. There's so much more to talk about, but I'll leave that kind of there for the moment. But what I would encourage you to do is maybe think about what values and qualities you hold or you aspire to. And so I can ask you some questions here that you can use for journal prompts that might help get you thinking about the values for your practice now. And maybe you'll even find, if you've been in private practice for a long time like me, that it's time for you to maybe update your values or tweak your values a little bit, because you will see that those values have that ripple effect throughout all those other areas of your practice, as we said before. So ask yourself, perhaps, many of us are solopreneurs as well, aren't we? So we are the business, but maybe have a think about what qualities that you hold within you as a woman private practice owner, as a woman therapist or practitioner, that you're most proud of. And, you don't have to tell anybody what this is, because I know that can be really uncomfortable, but maybe you can just journal about what you're most proud of. Maybe, you might say, well, I'm really proud of myself for being able to overcome challenges. One of the things I'm proud of myself for is being able to adapt. So I find myself very adaptable, and I think that's one of my strengths. But what are your strengths and qualities? And what about thinking about people that you really admire? Now, they don't have to be in the health space. They might be people that are celebrities or sports people or teachers from school, but think about a couple of people who you really admire, and maybe just reflect on what it is about them that you really do respect, and identify those qualities. I guess the second phase would be to really have a look at why you started your private practice. I mean, what did you want to achieve personally through your business? Were you looking to start the private practice so that you could have more time to do school drop-off and school pickup? Or did you want a pay rise? Or did you want more freedom to be able to choose when you wanted to work, or who you wanted to work with? What do you want your business to do for other people? Do you want other people to feel like they come to you and they experience a transformation, like they change, like they come to you with a problem, they leave feeling better? They come to you feeling, like something's missing, but they leave feeling whole and complete? Or is your business function to inspire people? All those sorts of things, okay? And then have a look really at your business model. So there are some ways that you can have a look at this. So basically there are, if you like, 4 quadrants, and those quadrants all overlap. So think about the things that you really, really, really love doing. And those things are your, we call them your passion and your mission. And then we have, look at the things that the world really needs right now. Okay, and that becomes your mission and your vocation. And then we want to have a look at what can you actually be paid for, and that becomes your profession and vocation. And then we have a look at the things that you're really, really good at, and that becomes your passion and profession. So that was an image that I saw on Pinterest that I felt really summed this up so beautifully, because they really do help give you some clarity around how values integrate into all those different layers of your beautiful private practice. So just to give you some ideas of what your brand values might look like, what have I got? I grabbed some for you before. Let me just find them. So some of your brand values might be things like abundance or adventure or attention to detail or balance or clarity or collaboration or compassion or creativity or client-centric or dignity. What else have we got here? Dreams, empowerment, equality. I'm going in alpha order and I'm just picking out ones you might be interested in. Fearlessness, generosity, genius, gratitude, health, heart, imagination, impact, innovation, learning, liveliness, loyalty, love, partnership, originality, precision, pride, recognition, resilience, simplicity, spontaneity, strength, trust, uniqueness, unity, virtue, warmth, and wonder. So that just gives you an idea. But what I'm going to be doing with the women in the method over February's will be going a lot more deeply into this, and I'll be teaching them how to integrate those values into all the different areas of their brand, because this is going to clarify for them their brand messaging, which is going to attract sales, and that's why they're in the group. Because of course, you know, if we don't make sales, guys, we're not in business. We've just got a very expensive hobby. So if this is something that you're interested in learning more about, then the method opens once a year. So let me know if you would like to go on the waiting list for that. It opens in January next year, and I can add you to that list. I will see if I can get some of the women at the end of February, when they've done this work, to maybe come on the show and share, their results, so that you can hear what the end process looks like, or what the end product looks like. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm addicted to creating a soul-led private practice. And I have never, ever, 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 ever looked back. And I'm excited to see what you can create as well from your soul-led private practice. So thank you so much for being here today. Head over to resources.brooklynstorm.com to access free goodies for private practice and free training, and have a look around and see if there's anything else there that might interest you. For those of you who have purchased the private practice starter kit, new forms were added this week, so make sure you go in and have a look at those, and I'll be putting in a couple more next week. Okay, have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Do share this episode with colleagues if you think they need some help building their brand awareness as well for their private practice, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.